In the meantime, travel to Ireland with me.
Good morning, Belfast, Northern Ireland, that is. Today is going to be a long day. It's going to be an exciting day. What are we doing? I don't know. We're given an itinerary, but because I'm not in charge of anything, I don't even memorize it. I'm just like going with the flow. But I believe we're visiting the land of Seamus Heaney today. Yeah, I believe that's what we're doing. I believe we're driving out that way and it will be all day Seamus. Yesterday was all day C.S. Lewis. Today will be all day Seamus, I believe. I believe. So let's get out of here and see what is happening. It's 7:30 right now, so we're going to go down early because I believe to get to the airport tomorrow, I have to take the bus and I think I have to buy a bus ticket. So I believe Kit is going to help me figure that stuff out. Yeah, so I'm gonna go down early because I think maybe perhaps hopefully she'll be down there. But I was looking at this mirror and I swear I see a footprint. I don't even know if y'all can see it because it's a mirror and the reflection on the mirror is very hard with the camera. God, you can't see it because I can't see it through this lens, but it's like right here is like the heel or so, and it look like toes right there. Y'all, I feel like that's a footprint. Gosh, I don't think there's any way for you guys to see it. Let me just kind of do a little angle stone. I don't think y'all can see it. I feel like that's a footprint. So in my mind, I'm thinking, was somebody like sitting in this chair, butt out, with their foot up there. I don't know what could have been going on. What could have been going on? Why is my bag in this chair? I just seen this footprint, y'all. Put it on the bed luggage mat. Okay, y'all. Let's get up out of here.
Proper Irish breakfast minus the beans. Coffee and the most amazing apple juice ever. Good morning. Look at Belfast. Looking all glorious. One of the things I think is so interesting is that they said here in Belfast, there's a bed for every person in the city. So it's like, while homelessness is a real thing, there's always a bed. Now, if you're drunk or high, they won't let you in. But to know that there is an option, if you are sober, willing to be sober, that you do not have to sleep out on the streets. I think that is so marvelous, and it's almost like, how and why can't other cities duplicate this? Ooh, today's a cold day in the neighborhood. I didn't come to Ireland expecting to discover Seamus Heaney, but somewhere between the green hills and the quiet museums, his name kept coming up, like a whisper carried on the wind. I learned he was more than just a poet. He was a storyteller of real life here. He wrote about family, memory, and the land itself, turning the ordinary moments into something deeply human. Standing in the place that inspired him, I started to understand why people still talk about his words, because they make you feel something. This isn't just about poetry. It's about seeing the world the way Heaney did, finding meaning in the simple and the everyday. I thought I was here to see Ireland's beauty, not to meet one of its greatest voices. I hope you guys can appreciate this too. Scones and biscuits. Is this a biscuit? Oh, they're all called scones. And a spot of tea. And some
We were just talking about my new novel that's coming out February 4th, 2025, Harlem Rhapsody. And I was so amazed when the first day, Kevin, you said to me, I can't wait for Harlem Rhapsody. And I'm like, how'd you hear about that book? But this is the story of a woman, Jessie Redmond Fawcett, who was the woman who ignited the Harlem Renaissance. You've never heard her name. When you hear the Harlem Renaissance, you think of Langston Hughes, County Cullen, all of those people. And it started because of a woman. Mm-hmm. So I was not prepared for this. Kwame just threw me under the bus. But what I'll do is start at the beginning. Do you remember why, Kwame, you start at the beginning? I taught him a lesson about that a long time ago. The most interesting part of your book is on page 171. You're in trouble. You should start at the most interesting part, should be at the beginning. So this is from October 19th, 1919. I thrust open the taxicab's door, and the moment my T-strap heels hit the pavement, a cacophony of city sounds welcomes me. The music enraptures me first. I can't sleep at night. I can't eat a bite. From a Victrola perched near an open window, the lyrics from Harlem Blues float down, and then Mamie Smith's Contralto drifts into the breeze. The joyous sound of two giggling girls skipping past me draws me from the song. Oh, you're just bumping your gums, a man shouts, and uproarious laughter rises from the circle of men dawdling in front of the barbershop a few doors away. I stand, absorbing it all, the patter of 1,000 footsteps of men and ladies and kiddies rushing past, motor cars chugging and clanking and clicking behind me, honking horns squealing into the air. 'Cause the man I love, Mamie sings, don't treat me right. We step into the vestibule and then through another door before we enter the hallway. I move to the only door on the first floor, but before I insert the key, the door swings open. Will, welcome to New York, W.E.B. Du Bois says. I study the man I first contacted when I was a student at Cornell University some 16 years ago.
Is that he was a poet. He was a poet, which makes sense.
He also wrote science fiction.
He knows how to put stuff full circle.
And so we're in the home of one of the greatest living poets, greatest poets ever. And one of W.E.B.'s poems was called "I Am the Smoke King," which I don't know, guys. Don't think I'm reciting it. But it's just a really interesting, connection in that I remember taking a course in Atlanta in 1986 with Cicely Tyson, Charles Fuller, who wrote A Soldier's Play, and Douglas Turner Ward, who founded the Negro Ensemble Company, which was one of the first black theater companies in New York City. And I remember listening to them talk about how they all began by writing poetry, that it is the basic building blocks of like all writing and storytelling. The poem is the basic thing. And so Victoria pointed out downstairs on the wall, when you first come in, there's a display of how to write a poem, like all the things that go into writing a poem. So definitely check that out. But give it up for Victoria. Woo! Thank you for volunteering and also doing that.
Oh, thank you. Well, I also went to Harlem and lived there for 5 weeks.
Okay. Oh, wow.
I'm from New York, but I've never lived in Harlem. So that would, and of course, it's 100 years later. But it was wonderful to live there and go to. I went to the places where so I walked the same streets.
Mm-hmm.
I knew how far he lived from her with his wife. He lived with his wife.
So we're going up here first to visit the Moyola River up here in Castle Dawson, and this is where Seamus spent his very early years. He was a little boy growing up on the farm at Mossbawn on the shores of the Moyola River.
Riverbank, the long rigs ending in broad docking, and a canopied pad down to the ford. The garden mould bruised easily. The shower gathering in your heel mark was the black O in Broch, its low tattoo among the windy burr trees and rhubarb blades, ended almost suddenly, like that last the strangers found difficult to manage.
And Seamus is really, sort of kind of joking and talking there in the poem about the way Broch is spelt, which is Broagh. For those of us here, I suppose in Ireland, it's relatively easy for us to pronounce it, but for other people, just looking at how it's spelt, you wouldn't automatically pronounce it. So as he's saying, people finding that sound difficult to get their mouths around and get their heads around that's how that's pronounced. Yeah, it's spelt quite differently. So it's a lovely little poem, that one. And again, he's talking about and he's describing the local area here. So this one here, Moyola, is actually about the river, and the river here all around us as well. And this one is really so evocative of the landscape here and the river all around us. So it's so lovely to listen to. Don't look at my nail disaster, which I had a couple of days ago.
Moyola. In those days, she flowed black-lick and quick under the sallies, the coldness off her like the coldness off you, your cheek and your clothes and your moves when you come in from gardening. She was in the swim of herself. Her gravel shallows swarmed. Pollen sowings tarnished her pools. And so what, did I hear somebody cry? Let them cry if it suits them, but let it be for her, her stones, her pearls, her pebbles slicked and blurred with algae, as if her name and addressing water suffered muddying, her clear vowels a great vowel shift, Moyola to Moyola. Milk-fevered river, froth at the mouth of the discharge pipe, Gidsum flotsam. Barefooted on the bank, glad-eyed, ankle-grassed, I saw it all and loved it at the time. Blettings, beastings, creamery spillage on her cleanly, comely sally trees and alders. Step into her for me some fresh-faced afternoon, but not before you step into thigh waders to walk up to the bib upstream in the give and take of her deepest, draggiest purchase, countering, parting, getting back at her, sourcing her and your plashy self, neither of you ready to let up.
Wow, so here is where they harvest the Lockney eels. But the amazing thing is they're much like salmon, right? So they come here and they live about 20 years of their life here in Lockney. And then when they become mature, they swim out to the Atlantic Ocean and live out the rest of their lives, have their babies. And then the babies will swim back here intuitively. They just know to swim back here. And again, they grow up here for 20 years and then they do that cycle. So these Lockney eels, they don't eat them much here, but they import them out. But they're known, I guess, I don't know, Japan, we have to do some more research. They're kind of known in those parts and everything to have some of the best eel in the world here. I do feel like we should go buy some smoked eel. How could we not? Right? Yeah.
Can you taste it?
Yes.
I would. This is how the eel look. Okay, I don't know about traveling with this.
Oh,
I was thinking more like,
yeah.
yeah, because this is like frozen.
Oh, I know that's
So-
good.
So do you like the eel?
I love it.
You do?
I do love it, yes.
So no, we can't try
Take it back
it.
home now.
No,
No, 'cause it's
Yeah,
frozen.
it's frozen. We didn't know
Yeah.
how.
I thought it was gonna be like vacuum
vacuum
sealed,
packed.
like
Yeah,
like
smoked.
smoked
Yeah.
No,
salmon sort
we
of
do
thing.
usually have smoked eel in stock, but we don't have any at the minute. We're waiting on the next delivery coming
Okay.
in, and then we will have it. So
Okay.
Wow. Even in the package, that trout looks good.
yeah,
I
it's so
know.
tasty. It
It
really
looks
is
so
tasty.
good. I
Absolutely.
love trout.
Yeah, it's very
Wow.
tasty.
That would have been great.
The Strand at Lough Bay, in memory of Colum McCartney. Leaving the white glow of filling stations and a few lonely street lamps among fields. You climb the hills toward Newtown Hamilton, past the fused forest, out beneath the stars, along the road, a high, bare pilgrim's track, where Sweeney fled before the bloodied heads, goat beards and dog's eyes in a demon pack, blazing out of the ground, snapping and squealing. What blazed ahead of you? A faked roadblock? The red lamp swung, the sudden brakes installing, engine, voices, heads hooded in the cold-nosed gun. Or in your driving mirror, tailing headlights that pulled out suddenly and flagged you down, where you weren't known and far from where you knew. The lowland clays and waters of Lao Bay, Church Island spire, its soft tree line of you. There you used hair guns fired behind the house. Long before rising time when duck shooters haunted the marigolds and bulrushes, but still were scared to find spent cartridges, acrid, brassy, genital, ejected. On your way across the strand to fetch the cows, for you and yours and mine fought the shy, spoken old language of conspirators, and could not crack the whip or seize the day. Big voiced scullions, herders, feelers, round haycocks and hindquarters, talkers and buyers, slow arbitrators of the burial ground. Across that strand of ours, the cattle graze, up to their bellies in an early mist, and now they turn their unbewildered gaze to where we work our way through the squeaking sedge, drowning in dew, like a dull blade with its edge honed bright. Lao Bay half shines under the haze. I turn because the sweeping of your feet has stopped behind me, to find you on your knees, with blood and roadside muck in your hair and eyes, then kneel in front of you in brimming grass, and gather up cold handfuls of the dew to wash you, cousin. I dab you clean with moss, fine as the drizzle out of low cloud. I lift you under the arms and lay you flat, with rushes that shoot green again. I plait green scapulars to wear over your shroud. And because there's like bird watching here, it lets you know like the different birds you may see and their priority under conservation status. This is called the Strand. He felt like coming out here was like a bath to the soul. Imagine that, your soul getting a bath. This is a great place to come to be alone with your thoughts, or as I prefer, to be alone with your dreams.
And I can remember us doing this when we were kids. My mum taking us out there. What you would do is you go out to the church island to the stone.
Dreams of abundance, especially when you look at this land and how abundant this land is. The abundance of leaves and blades of grass, the trees. How could you look at any of this and ever feel that there's lack? Especially when I think about life and right now making a decision about what I want to do about a car. And just remembering that I get to lean on abundance and not lack. And whatever decision I make gets to come from a space of choice abundance, what feels good, not being rushed to make a decision based on circumstance when I haven't even had a chance to research my highest levels of possibilities. And maybe I don't want that high level now. Maybe I want to sit and dream a little longer about the possibility of what I could have and play with that. That's the thing I really like about getting a thing. It's not so much going out to get the thing. It's about everything that comes before. It's about dreaming up the thing, having great imagination and fantasies about the thing. Just all of that is so much more fun to me than the actual going to the store to get the thing itself. I want the lead up, the build up. I deserve the lead up. I deserve the build up. And so because of that, I'm definitely going to get my car fixed and then dream about my next possibility, especially knowing that what I may want for my future self may not even exist right now. It might not even be here right now. This could all be part of getting ready to get ready for my new car, right? Why do I have to rush myself into something that I'm not even excited or passionate about just because it's the next best thing? I don't want the next best thing. I want the best thing. And I love that here at the Strand, all of this is being made clear for me. All of this is clearing up for me. Clarity is such a great gift. Thank you so much, God, for that gift of clarity. But that's what it is. I don't want that taken from me. The excitement, the dream, the fantasy, the imagination, the getting ready for my next best thing. When I got this car, I dreamt on this car for not just months, probably years, right? Not saying it ever has to take that long, but even if it does, it's okay because I had so much fun with it in the meanwhile. So much fun with it. So yeah, I'm going to slow roll this life. And it just feels good knowing that I'm not making a decision from a space of lack, but it truly is coming from the space of abundance. The abundance of dreaming I get to have, the abundance of fun I get to have, creating my next best thing. Wow. And it's funny when I think about it because to the untrained ear, anything can sound like you're not moving from a place of abundance, right? But honestly, you have to figure that out for yourself. You have to figure out your inspiration, your motivation. No one else can tell you. They can give you ideas, they can give you suggestions, but they really don't know what a thing is because they're not in your soul. They're not in your heart, right? And so for me, I had to kick this around a little bit because it was like, okay, how am I feeling? What am I feeling? Is it that I don't have the money? Is it that I can't do both? Of course I can. I can pay off my house and buy a car and take all the vacations. Of course I am. So that wasn't quite it. But I didn't want to move until I knew what was quite it. And what it was this. Part of me being me is the fact that I get to play, I get to have fun, I get to dream. That is so much fun for me. The fun isn't just jumping on a vacation. The fun is dreaming up all of the days before the vacation, the possibilities of that vacation, getting excited for what lies before you, for all the things that you could run into, known and unknown. That is the fun for me. So it's never about the thing. It's about all that goes into making the thing and letting God custom tailor that thing for you, for real, for real. And so now that I know this, what I also know is because I was asking Tesla questions, but really it wasn't even questions I needed answers to. What it was stalling. I was stalling until I felt what I feel now: clarity, certainty, being sure. And now that I have my answers, of course, I'm going to try to custom tailor that price point a little bit. Of course, I'm going to ask for a discount thanks to the wonderful people who gave me that wonderful suggestion, that idea, that reminder. Of course, I'm going to do that. Of course, I'm going to take some things off of the bill, like a $275 tire alignment. Why? Because I have a tire warranty on my tires at a place by my house where I can get alignments for free. And so, of course, I'm going to do those things, but I am going to let them know, go ahead and fix my car. All right, guys, we're now back here at the home. What is it called? The home base, the home somebody exhibit. Now, I just got finished eating and I totally forgot to take a picture. And that sandwich was totally the best. I had like the chicken, ciabatta, somebody's sandwich. All right, let's see. Apparently a lot of people have visited here from the United States and then all over Ireland, the UK, and Europe. Then all of us, all of the people from California. Not a lot of people from here, not a lot of people from the continent. A lot of people from this part of the world. Ooh, a lot of people from Australia. Really cool. Tonight we're having dinner at a jail, y'all. I have no idea. The Crumlin experience. Okay. The Crumlin experience. So we're staying at the Europa Hotel, which is the most bombed hotel in Europe.
1980s.
And he was given a story about how it was bombed when he was there one time.
The media from the only hotel we had in Belfast, and the media from all over the world would stay in there.
So this was a prison for men, women, and children. The youngest child imprisoned here was 7 years old.
So, each wing was set up independently. Here you will have PO, a principal officer, a guard who's in charge. Next door to him there is a guard called the movement officer.
Well, how are you?
Okay.
It's a bit strange having a visitor on the line with us.
Come in. Don't look too nervous. There's nothing to be worried about.
It's creeping me out.
You will have noticed that this cell is slightly larger than the others. That's because it was two cells knocked into one. The reason? Well, this cell was to accommodate not only the prisoner, but two prison officers as well. The prison officers were to keep the prisoner occupied and to ensure that he did not cheat the hangman's noose. He would also receive weekly visits from his family. One of these visits would be essential to the condemned man, because the family would indicate that he had less than 18 hours to live. On return to the cell, he would be met by the governor, who would read aloud the declaration that the man was to be hanged by the neck until dead and buried in an unmarked grave within the prison. His wrists were strapped to his waist, his shirt collar opened to reveal his neck. At this point, the prisoner would be inconsolable. He was preparing for the long walk out through the door that you just came in to the gallows. At the last minute, he would be turned to face the bookcase. Dazed and confused, the prisoner did not know what was happening. The bookcase opened to reveal the hangman's noose.
So, if you actually look through the glass, you'll see the trap doors. You see one here and one there. So where the glass is, come closer and have a look. The trap doors would be shut. And on the trap doors there would have been a chalk mark to indicate where the prisoner stood and what would be the doors. His hands would have been tied in the active pinion in the ensuite. His shirt open with the feet in the neck. And while the prisoner stood on the trap doors, the executioner binded both ankles together with the belt. The executioner puts the hood over the prisoner's head and slips noose around his neck and he tightens it. The executioner then steps aside for safety. He pulls her pin out to allow the doors to open, pushes the lever forward, the doors open, and the prisoner fell. Within 4 seconds, his neck was broken in the fall. This is what we call the long drop, perfected by William Marwood in 1878. It's all about height and about weight. It would dictate the length of the rope required to break the neck on the fall. The heavier the prisoner, the shorter the drop. The lighter he was, the longer the drop to break the neck. At the bottom of the rope, the leather part's called the gimbal. That's 13 inches placed around the prisoner's neck. See this brass eyelid? And it's stuck like that in there, left ear, and while your weight coming down, reach your third edge, you're paralyzed within seconds. Pier point, responsible for 550 executions. He had an uncle and a father called Thomas and Henry, also executioners. The Pierpoint family carried out 800 executions between. That is original.
This is so cool.
That's a dream.
I'll top up some water. I would rather go blind, boy, than to see you walk away from me, try. if I could find a frown. I thought he found my letter and read each word out loud. I prayed that he would finish, but he just stepped right on, strumming my pain with his finger.
One time,
Singing my life with his words.
2 times.
Killing me softly with his song. Killing me softly with his song.
I can't get you out of my mind. It's like I feel it for the first time. Been thinking about you all night. I've been searching for this all my life. You're just my type. I've been